Hi folks, this is Steve, the Cardboard Cultist, and today I'm bringing you the first game of our Pandemic Legacy Season 2 campaign. Now this video is going to be filled with spoilers. I'm going to be showing you and discussing all of the campaign content. So if you are trying to avoid spoilers, this isn't the video for you and you should click away now. So let's jump into the gameplay. So it's January and we get our first journal entry, along with 2 mandatory objectives that we're going to try and complete this month. Let's take a look at those now, and they're fairly self-explanatory. We need to build 3 new supply centres and we need to recon North America. Completing both of these objectives is going to require collecting and discarding a lot of cards. So as always with Pandemic, action efficiency is key. And while we're getting the game board set up, we're also going to be distributing our supply cubes. And these are going to be really important for avoiding incidents and fighting off the plague. And as we're finishing up setup, let's take a look at our starting group of heroes. First up, we've got the imaginatively named Bob the Farmer, and he's going to be great for delivering supplies to where we need them most. Next up, we've got Dr. Fox the Administrator, and we can use his ability to get players together so that they can transfer cards. Our third hero is Olivia, the Radio Operator, and she's going to be great for when we're spread out but still need to move supply cubes around the board. And finally, we've got Sinbad, the Labourer, and we're going to use him to build our supply centres as often as possible. So now let's jump back into the game. So as this was our first game, we really didn't know what to expect and we didn't have a clear strategy going in. We knew that we wanted to play fairly conservatively and we did want to get that recon objective completed in this game. As so often happens with Pandemic though, the player deck slapped us straight in the face and we were immediately facing an epidemic card. We suffered our first incident as Istanbul was infected with the plague. And we have Olivia over in that area just trying to mitigate the situation and keep things under control. But this is certainly not the start we wanted. In terms of strategy, we're still trying to keep our focus on North America and get cards over to our Labourer as often as possible. But with so much going on over in Tripoli, Cairo and Istanbul, we're having to dedicate a lot of resources just to keep things under control. The infection deck holds multiple copies of these cities, so it's really easy for things to get out of hand. And to make matters worse, we're hit with another epidemic card. And even though we know these cards are coming, they still seem to come at a bad time. And once more, we're hit with an incident as a plague cube enters the board in Jacksonville. Thankfully, we've got players close by to help deal with the situation. But little do we know, another epidemic card is just around the corner. Right now, it feels like an impossible task. We don't seem to be getting anywhere with these objectives, and we're getting hit from all angles. Finally, our Labourer is going to start earning his money, and we get our first supply centre built. And just a few turns later, with a little help from Dr. Fox the Administrator and a few quick card exchanges, we've got our second supply centre built. Suddenly, things don't look so bad, and with a little bit of breathing room, we're able to get some much needed supplies to vulnerable areas. But we know there could be an epidemic card right around the corner, and we don't have to wait long for it to show itself. The incident track is creeping up, and it's back to damage control. Now before that epidemic hit, we'd already been discussing how we were going to get this recon objective complete. We finally had everything we needed, and with a little bit of shuffling around, we were able to successfully recon North America. We had left ourselves incredibly vulnerable across the map though, and that third supply centre is going to be a real challenge. We have found some new areas to explore though, and some new actions to help us through the campaign. We'll look at those actions more in future videos, but essentially they help us search new cities and create new supply lines. So while we're sorting through the new content and checking rules, let's take a look at the state of the game. Both the incident and infection rate tracks are climbing up fast, and those plague cubes are all focused in one area. But what's worse is we simply don't have enough supply cubes on the board to handle the current infection rate. We do start to consider using the mass supply action cards to try and get cubes on the board quickly, but it just doesn't seem worth it, as we don't even have any supply centres built on our most vulnerable areas on the board. There have been a number of times through this playthrough where I think we took the more cautious approach, and I think that's fairly normal, being the first game of our campaign. But I'm not sure how much it affected our chances of getting both objectives complete. At this point, we're just trying to figure out if there's any way we can get that third supply centre complete. But unfortunately, we simply don't have the cards available to us. We're unable to stem the tide, as New York becomes the final city ravaged by plague. The battle is lost, but the war has just begun. We've successfully reconned North America, and we're going to have one more attempt to try and get those supply centres built. If you enjoyed this video, then please like and subscribe. But until next time, take care and thanks for watching.